Close your eyes for a second. Just imagine this. You're in Paris. Lights, music, the Moulin Rouge, feathers and sequins, those high kicks. But is it really all it's cracked up to be? Is it worth the splurge?
Well, that's what we're here to figure out today. We're diving deep into all the reviews, all those travel blogs.
Yep. We're sifting through it all so you don't have to.
And speaking of splurging, if you're already feeling those Paris vibes,
Oh, yeah.
we've got a link for you down in the video description for Get Your Guide tickets to the Moulin Rouge.
With champagne. Don't forget the champagne.
Always gotta have the champagne, right?
Yeah.
Now, one thing that's really interesting about the Moulin Rouge is that it's not just some flash-in-the-pan nightclub, you know?
Right.
This place has history. We're talking way back, 1880s.
Wow.
The Belle Epoque, birthplace of the can-can. Artists, writers, they've been drawn to this place for over a century.
And now tourists from all over the world.
Exactly. And from what I'm seeing in these reviews,
Yeah.
it seems like they're really pulling out all the stops to live up to that legacy.
I mean, people are raving about those dance routines. The energy's insane.
Oh, absolutely.
And the costumes.
Dazzling. Simply dazzling.
And it sounds like they've got a really good mix of like classic acts and then some more modern stuff too.
It's that blend, you know? That's what's so smart.
Right.
They're not just stuck in the past. It's evolving, which is probably why it's still so popular today.
That makes sense. But, okay, it's not all feathers and high kicks, though.
Oh. What do you mean?
Some of these reviews I'm reading, people were thrown off by some of the more, shall we say, unexpected elements.
Like what?
Like live animals on stage.
No way.
Yeah. Apparently that's a thing.
Wow. That's not something you see every day.
No, not at all.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. Is it adding to the spectacle or is it just kind of weird?
I guess that's for each person to decide.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've got this iconic venue, we've got the history, these incredible performances.
Let's be practical here. Yes, let's.
Is the Moulin Rouge actually worth it for you?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
If you're all about those bucket list experiences and you're looking for that classic Paris night out, then it's probably a yes.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of reviews that say it's great for groups, like bachelorette parties, that kind of thing.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
That shared experience, the glamour, the excitement, it seems to really resonate.
Makes sense. What about couples?
Couples, it can be incredibly romantic.
Oh, yeah.
That intimate setting, champagne flowing. But there is something to keep in mind.
What's that?
There are burlesque elements to the show. I'm talking topless dancers.
Oh, right.
So maybe have a little chat beforehand just to make sure you're both on the same page.
Good point. What about solo travelers? Any advice for them?
Solo travelers, you're absolutely not excluded. Plenty of people go to the Moulin Rouge on their own.
Yeah, some even said they liked being anonymous in the crowd, you know?
Right. But if you want something a bit more social, maybe try connecting with some other travelers beforehand.
Yeah, find a group to go with. That's a good idea.
Exactly. And it just goes to show you can really personalize the experience to make it your own.
Love that. What about families?
Families. It's a bit trickier. Technically, kids over 6 are allowed.
Okay.
But a lot of reviewers said it wasn't really kid-friendly.
Really? Why not?
Yeah.
Just the burlesque stuff.
Not just that. It's more about the length and style of the show. 2 hours is a long time for a little one to sit still.
That's true. And the showtimes are pretty late, too.
Exactly. 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. might not be ideal for the younger set.
Definitely something to consider. And speaking of things to consider, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
The cost.
The cost. The Moulin Rouge is not exactly a budget-friendly outing, just to be clear.
No, it's definitely a splurge. Show tickets alone start around 100 euros.
Wow.
And if you want the dinner and show package, you're looking at closer to 200.
Okay, so that's a significant difference.
It is. And then there's the VIP options, you know. Skip the line entry, prime seats, champagne, gifts. All the bells and whistles.
Of course, that comes with a price tag, too.
It does. So if you're on a tight budget, this might not be the best choice.
Right. But if you're willing to splurge for a special occasion, it could be something to think about.
Absolutely. It's all about priorities, right?
Totally. And making informed decisions.
Exactly. Know the costs up front, plan accordingly, no surprises later.
Okay, so we know it's going to cost a pretty penny.
It is a splurge.
But for some people, it's just got to be done. It's on the bucket list. Got to see the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
So let's say you're one of those people.
Okay.
How do you make the most of it? Any tips? Any tricks?
Planning is key.
Okay, good start.
Think about your seating. Some reviewers said that the tables can be a bit a bit cramped,
Oh, wow.
especially if you're sharing with other people. So if you want a bit more space, maybe think about those VIP tickets.
Oh, yeah, the VIP tickets, those usually come with better seating, right? Like dedicated areas, maybe even table service.
Exactly. And it's not just about comfort,
Yeah.
it's about your line of sight.
Makes sense.
If you're sitting way in the back or off to the side,
Yeah.
you might miss some of the details of the costumes.
Oh, the details.
Or the dancers' expressions, all those little things.
Right. So if you're a visual person,
Mm-hmm.
front row seats, balcony seats may be worth the extra cost.
Yeah.
But if you're more about the overall atmosphere, then a standard seat might be just fine.
Totally. It really depends on what you're looking for.
That's true. Okay, here's a question for you. Later show or earlier show?
Ooh, interesting.
Which one's better?
A few people mentioned the later show.
The 11 p.m. one?
Yeah, the 11 p.m. show, it can actually be less crowded.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, I guess.
And sometimes you can even find discounted tickets for the later show.
Ooh, discounts.
So if you're a night owl or you're on a budget, that might be a good option.
Love a good insider tip. Less crowded potential discounts.
Yeah.
All right, what about pictures? Everyone wants those Instagram pics.
Yeah, I know. It's tempting.
It is.
But the Moulin Rouge, they generally have a no photo, no video policy during the show.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for most live shows these days.
Right. Makes sense.
Got to be present in the moment.
Exactly. Protect the artistry of the performers, too.
Right, right.
But I did see a couple of reviews where people mentioned that they were allowed to take pictures before the show started.
Oh, so if you want those pics, got to get there early.
Exactly. Okay, here's a tip that might seem a bit random.
Go for it.
Use the restroom before the show starts.
Oh, always good advice.
I know, but especially at the Moulin Rouge, apparently there can be long lines for the restrooms.
Oh, no.
And once the show's going, it's not easy to just get up and leave your table.
Okay, noted. Got to plan ahead. Comfort is key, especially for a 2-hour show.
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of the show, it's important to go in with the right mindset, I think.
What do you mean?
Some people, they were expecting just straight up can, and they were a bit surprised by all the other stuff going on.
Yeah, like the water tank, the animals we talked about.
Yeah.
Not your typical can-can.
Exactly. So embrace the unexpected. The Moulin Rouge isn't just about recreating the past, it's about reinterpreting it.
Oh, I like that.
Modern elements, different dance styles, a little bit of circus in there too.
Sounds fun.
It is. Go in with an open mind, ready for anything. You never know what's going to happen.
Love that. Okay, another practical question. Dinner and show package. Worth it?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is.
The food reviews are kind of all over the place.
Really?
Yeah. Some people loved it. Some people thought it was just okay, especially for the price.
So if you're a serious foodie,
Yeah.
maybe do a little extra research on the menu.
Mhm.
Or just have a great meal somewhere else in Montmartre.
Totally. There are so many amazing restaurants in that area.
Yeah, no shortage of options there. It's all about managing those expectations, right?
Yeah.
If you're going for the dinner, maybe don't expect a Michelin star experience.
Right.
Just focus on the overall experience.
No.
Okay, one last thing I saw in the reviews.
Yeah.
Taxes. Some people warned about inflated prices from the taxis waiting outside the Moulin Rouge after the show.
Yeah, that's unfortunately pretty common in tourist areas.
It is. So what do you do?
Have a plan B. Maybe pre-book a car service.
Right.
Or use a ride-hailing app.
Those are good options.
Or even just walk a few blocks away from the venue to find a taxi with a more reasonable fare.
Yeah, that's smart. A little bit of planning can save you a lot of hassle later on. Okay, so we've talked about the practical stuff, how to get there, how to get tickets, all that jazz. But what about the show itself? What can people actually expect when those curtains go up?
Well, first of all, get ready to be wowed. Visually, the show is just incredible.
I mean, the costumes are legendary.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Extravagance is the word that comes to mind. Feathers, sequins, those elaborate headpieces. You won't be able to take your eyes off it.
And the choreography, I'm hearing, is pretty intense, very high energy.
Oh, it is. Really dynamic, pushing the boundaries of what cabaret can be. And it's not just can either.
Oh, yeah, we talked about all the other elements.
Right. You'll see some circus performance in there, acrobatics, even illusions. It's a whole spectacle.
It's like a sensory overload. In a good way. What about the music?
Oh, the music is fantastic. It's a mix of classic French tunes and then some modern remixes.
I love that.
Yeah, it just creates this amazing atmosphere of excitement and energy. It really is a full sensory experience,
I bet. And a lot of the reviews use those big words to describe it, like
Yeah.
breathtaking, spectacular, unbelievable.
Yeah, people are really blown away by it. And I think it makes sense. The Moulin Rouge taps into that desire for escape, that sense of wonder that we all have, you know?
Totally.
It's like stepping into a different world for a few hours, a world of fantasy and glamour.
But I guess, like with any show, not everyone's going to have the same reaction.
Right, exactly. It's not a guaranteed you'll love it kind of thing.
Right.
That's why it's so important to read those reviews, get a sense of what people are saying, and see if it aligns with your own taste.
Right, right. So should people go in expecting to be transported to, like, pure Parisian magic?
You know, I think it's more about setting realistic expectations. It's a visually stunning show, super high energy, almost like a sensory overload. If you go in understanding that and also being open to the unexpected, then yeah, I think there's a good chance the Moulin Rouge will really sweep you off your feet.
So to sum it all up, the Moulin Rouge, it's a classic Parisian experience. It's a spectacle, it's dazzling, it's got history, it's a splurge, but for a lot of people, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
The key takeaway here, go in informed, know what to expect,
Yes.
be ready for some surprises.
And most importantly, make it your own. Tailor the experience to what you're looking for. If you do that, the Moulin Rouge has the potential to be a truly unforgettable night.
Now, on that note, we've got a question for you all. If you could design your own Moulin Rouge act, what would it be? Classic, can, breathtaking acrobatics, something completely out there, something no one's ever seen before. Let your imaginations run wild and tell us about it in the comments.